We'll talk later in the game or later in the show about who will win, who we think will win with the spreads factored in the AFC and NFC Championship games. How about some of the props that have been identified in advance? And these are real props. We've made them up in the past. These are real props that you can bet on if you are in a state where that sort of behavior is now legal. Largest lead in the Rams-Saints game. Largest lead. Remember the last time they played, at one point the Saints were up by 21. For this game, the over-under is 14.5. Chris, let me throw it to you. Will it be over? Will it be under?
I'm going to go with under here. I just have a hard time believing that we'll see any team really pull away to that, extent throughout the game. I just think it's a very evenly matched football teams with two great coaches on both sides of the ball, two very good defensive coordinators on that side of the ball. I mean, I think this is going to be a nail-biter where it's going back and forth, and maybe whoever has the ball last kind of pulls it out in the end. But I would be shocked if anybody's ever up by more than 14.
Yeah, I agree with that one. The under is plus money as well, so you might as well take that. And I just do. I mean, I could see in a world where the Saints and the Dome, different team in the Dome, they jump on the Rams, but I'd agree. 14.5 feels a little too high. I think maybe there'll be a 10-point lead. 14.5 too high, so I'm going under as well.
Yeah, the under at plus 140. But I could see a game where, there's a big lead, and then it goes away. And then there's a big lead, and then it goes away. I mean, we saw what the Rams could do when they were down 21. And I think that 14.5 is a great spot to put it, because I could see very easily Saints up 14, and then that lead's gone. And then maybe the Rams are up 7, and then it goes the other way. I mean, when you're talking about two high-powered offenses that can move the ball and score points. Now, both teams maybe were more effective in both regards earlier in the year, but when they get together on Sunday, there's a chance. And I think back to that NFC Championship game from 2009. I mean, it was yards and points and scoring.
The game
and scoring.
the Vikings lost, you mean? The Vikings game that they lost?
When Adrian Peterson ate French fries right before the game. Remember that? Remember that picture,
Brett Favre
Mike?
threw that bad interception when they were in field goal range. You mean that one? You remember that game, Mike?
He had the French fries right before the game, and then he dropped the ball. He put it on the floor a couple times.
Just let me know when you're done.
Okay.
Okay. Please. Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
So I agree with you guys. I'll take the under. I try to talk myself into the over, but I'll take the under. Let's move on to running back with more yards in the NFC Championship game. Todd Gurley or Alvin Kamara? Big Cat, who you got?
Okay, despite the reports that Todd Gurley is upset about his touches per game, I'm going to say Todd Gurley. Alvin Kamara, his rushing yards have not been, insane the last, 6-7 weeks.
I misspoke. I'm sorry. More total yards.
No, I know, but I'm
total
saying,
yards makes it more interesting.
The rushing yards obviously play into the total yards. I think Todd Gurley will have a big game, and I think Sean McVay knows that if he wants to keep a happy household, he's got to give Todd Gurley the ball a bunch.
Yeah, I'm going Gurley as well here because I do think not only that, like what Big Cat's saying, but I just think he's going to look at it and go, Gurley's one of our best weapons. And if we're worried about Jared Goff, one of the best way to get him easy completions is to throw, short passes to Gurley out of the backfield. The running back screens, awful play action. They're masterful at that. And, I know he's going to have to share carries with C.J. Anderson, but I think they're going to ride their stud here in the NFC Championship game. And I look at Kamara, Big Cat makes the point. Yes, they don't usually give him the kind of touches to run the ball 18 to 20 times a game. He has to, share that with Ingram a little bit. So I lean Gurley on this one.
This is one of those where there could be a little controversy when it's time to take your ticket back to the window, because when they say total yards, do they mean all-purpose yards? Because you got potential kickoff return yards for Alvin Kamara?
That doesn't count.
Okay.
Yeah.
I answered the question for you. Believe me, I've been through this many times.
Then I'll go talk. Yeah, I'll go Todd Gurley. You've been burned by that one before.
Oh, yeah.
At the window.
There's nothing
banging
worse
on the glass.
There's nothing
Give me
worse
my money.
than refreshing the page to see if maybe they got the yardage wrong, and maybe you round up from a half a yard.
So Todd Gurley, I agree with you. Even though C.J. Anderson is going to get more than a few carries, Todd Gurley will have some big runs, and I think Todd Gurley, it tilts in his favor a little bit more. And I think the Rams need Gurley to step up and have a big game more than the Saints need Kamara, because they have so many other weapons on that side of the ball. All right, let's flip over to the AFC. For Rob Gronkowski, over-under receiving yards, 51.5. Chris, what do you have?
Yeah, it's crazy that we're putting that number at 51.5 for Rob Gronkowski, where we've just been years and years of going in big games. It's like it didn't seem like 80 would be that number, 90, 100, it'd be around there. I'm going to take the under here, oddly enough. I did not expect to really be saying this, but, he's just not been a factor in the pass game. Rob Gronkowski's greatest strength right now is as a run blocker. He's always like having an extra offensive tackle on the field. And I think we saw last week with the way they're running the football, they'll keep him on situations in to make it look like the run. And then it's, Edelman behind the second level or a Hogan or whoever it may be. And of course, the James White factor out of the backfield. I'm going under with Gronkowski.
This is bad because we keep agreeing,
yeah.
But I totally agree. Rob Gronkowski, his last 6 games, 25 yards, 24 yards, 21 yards, 107 against Miami because they decided that they'll just put one guy on him, which was insane, 26 and 56. So there's only one of those if you take out the Miami game where he went over this yardage number, and they're going to run the ball like you said. So Rob Gronkowski as a blocker is more valuable to the Patriots right now than going out there and catching passes.
Yes.
The last big moment we saw from Rob Gronkowski this year, other than his effort to try to make the tackle at the end of the Dolphins game, the big moment that is seared into our brains was that catch he made down the field that allowed the Patriots to win against the Chiefs back in Week 6. And I think Gronkowski, and he was waxing kind of poetically about what it means to be in 8 straight AFC Championship games. And if he really is moving toward the end, if this is his final year, I could see Gronk step up and have a significant game, and I could see the Patriots unleash him in a way that maybe they haven't in recent weeks. And maybe it's been a long con, right? Maybe it's been a multi-week rope-a-dope with this game being the thing that they were setting the Chiefs up for. Because the Chiefs look at Gronk over the last 7 weeks and say, we don't have to worry about Gronk. And then here comes Gronk, and he explodes in a big way. I'm taking the over. It's minus 135 for the under. I want the over, guys, especially since we can't all agree about everything.
Well,
I say he's going to have at least 75 receiving yards.
If the Chiefs leave, no names like number 30 on them all game, then me and Big Cat are going to be in big trouble, certainly. But, okay, you're taking the over. Good for you.
Longest touchdown in Patriots Chiefs, over under 45.5 yards. Big Cat, I throw it to you.
This is one of those bets that it's my gut versus my head, because my head says it's going to be under. It's going to be a little cold. They're going to try to run the ball. I think the Patriots are going to try to make Patrick Mahomes go down the field 15-yard drives to score.
Right.
But all I'm thinking about is Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
And so I'm taking the over. Because it's the most electric play in sports, and if he gets even a second of space, he's gone.
You're right. He's maybe the fastest receiver we've ever seen. I don't mean to agree with this guy so much, but I'm going with the over as well, because even if the Patriots play, we're going to play this bend, don't break, we're going to try to keep everybody in front of you. Yeah, that's great. That sounds good. It's great on the chalkboard and everything, but we've seen that it's only a matter of time before Mahomes gets out of the pocket and throws a laser down the field like we saw the first time around. Or like Big Cat saying, he throws a ball down the middle of the field to Tyreek Hill and he catches it and he's got a little space and no one's going to catch him. So I have a hard time thinking that there won't be at least one play over that mark in this game, even by either team, because of course we know the Chiefs defense is not exactly the steel curtain.
Yeah, I think you throw Tyreek Hill in, and that's a difference maker. I think there's always a good chance of a touchdown that long, but Hill is the guy that we can count on to have that kind of a play. The Patriots cannot contain this guy. They were talking yesterday, Patrick Chung and Stephon Gilmore, about the different things they're doing to try to simulate and mimic him in practice. You can't. You can't do it. They can't be ready for this guy. They haven't been able to deal with him. They faced him twice. He has ripped them up every time. I agree with you guys. There will be a touchdown longer than 45.5 yards, and it's going to have a lot to do with the presence of Tyreek Hill. All right, one more before we take a break. More combined yards in the game. Tom Brady and Sony Michel, or Patrick Mahomes and Damian Williams. Right. Chris, who you got?
Yeah, I was going to say you go, because I'm just going to disagree with you, whatever, and try to spin it. Yeah, no matter what.
Okay, fine. All right. I'm going to go with Mahomes and Williams as far as more combined yards. My biggest reason being the screen game for Damian Williams. I think Mahomes will have a good – Mahomes throwing for 300 yards is just ho-hum at this point. He threw for 300. We don't even talk about it anymore. Where Brady and Michel, we talk about the run game, but also I think what hurts Michel maybe a little bit in this matchup is, James White. They're going to throw the ball to James White and run the ball with Michel, where Damian Williams gets a little bit of both. I'm expecting Andy Reid to stay somewhat balanced for Andy Reid, so I'm going to go Mahomes-Williams.
Thank you for proving my point for me, Chris, because you just said they're going to run the ball with Michel and throw the ball to James White. Guess what?
What?
Both of those count for me, because I have Brady and Michel. So when Tom Brady throws it to James White, that counts for me. When Sony Michel runs, that counts for me.
It's a valid
you just
point.
proved my point.
That's a valid point. You're right. I mean, it does kind of like massage your point, but
I would probably say Mahomes if I didn't try to intentionally disagree, just because I think the Chiefs' offense has to be explosive.
I'll break the tie, and I think it will be Brady and Michel. I think Brady, look, for the same reasons Gronkowski understands the significance of this moment, and Brady's heard all the praise from Mahomes all year long. He'll act like he didn't. He has. This is his chance to remind everyone that he's still the greatest of all time. Maybe Mahomes will get there, but for now it's Brady, and I think we're going to see him do some special things. And if not, Michel's going to supplement it on the ground. So I'll go Brady and Michel as well.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.